Hey, welcome to Divine Honey Podcast. I am your host, your friend, Tamika Johnson.
And I
Tim,
am your co-host, little brother Tim Johnson.
if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This show is about human experiences. This includes thought provoking conversations, and most importantly, our Divine Honey Podcast guest coming on with us and sharing stories about love, life, journey, and purpose. If you're watching on the live or on the replay and you feel inspired, show some love in the chat. This is your inspirational podcast. So, welcome back. Welcome back, Tim. Welcome back, audience. I know we've been on a little hiatus since the last show I think we did was on 526, and our friend Bridget Giles, she was on as a guest talking about church hurt. So, go back and catch that episode. Um, Last month was Men's Mental Health Month, and we didn't do any shows then, so we wanted to kick it off with a topic revolving around men. And we have a guest, a special guest, Demetrius Hood, who's going to join in with us and talk about the title is Men Looking for a Wifey. And when men are seeking a wife, should a man assume the role of a husband? And we really got this topic based off of a conversation between Demetrius Hood and our friend Bridget Giles. Demetrius, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How did you and Bridget get on this topic? What
Um,
sparked
what
that?
man? Now that I'm trying to think about it, I don't. What probably happened is because me and Bridget speak about relationships and marriage and things of that nature. Once again, I was a leader within our church in our marriage class during my marriage and even some afterwards as well. So marriages and just relationships in general is something that I'm always talking about. So it could have been just a Tuesday that we actually talked about this, just a random day. Like I just called her and was like, "What you think about this?" So and then we get into the conversation. Um, and I mean, it's a very open thing because um, just a little background. Like I said, I was married for 15 years. Um, and divorced now. But the question is, how do you kind of go into that role as now you are a husband and now you're trying to be a boyfriend or whatever that next title is being, and it's kind of like shifting down type situation. Like I was the husband for 15 years. That's what I know how to do. Like that's now I ain't gonna say that I was the best one, but I was a husband, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just trying to figure out that whole dynamic. And also even sometimes going into the Bible, it's like, so what am I supposed to do? What do I do after this? What how do I look at it? There's some, some basic type situations, that they answer within the Bible sometimes, but otherwise, how do I seek a wife? Man that finds a wife finds a good thing. Well, how do I find her? And in today's society, unfortunately, we need to make sure that we find her and not him because uh, it's dangerous out there. It's scary. So it was, like I said, it was just a regular day type situation, probably that we started talking about it, just talking about relationships. And I think we ended up where we agreed to disagree
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, I mean, if I go into a relationship, I want to be a husband, so I act like a husband. And she was like, you shouldn't. And I was like, okay, but what things should I do and what things shouldn't I do? And it comes into a gray area. It really turns into a gray area sometimes. So that's kind of how it's probably started.
I think that's a solid point right there. So let me ask you this. So in doing that, doing what you know, why, I wonder, because it sounds as though you would be stripping a part of yourself away to then try to be with somebody. But if you come into the relationship as who you are, that's how you seek what you're looking for. Nope.
Very valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree, and that's, you got to look at yourself. You know, um, one of the things as a man, first thing is you're a provider, right? That's what they state. So if I'm going into a relationship, what is that definition of providing? So am I paying bills? Am I um providing protection when you're with them, or the 50-50 thing, like, okay, we going Dutch, like, what is that? But as a husband going into it, if I'm, because even when I'm dating for marriage.
Right.
I ain't not if if I ain't looking at marriage, I ain't going out with you like that. Don't That's a waste of time. I'm not a kid. I don't got time to be wasting like that. So if that's not something, we ain't even going out on a date. So I'm doing this with a purpose. So within that purpose, like I said, I'm acting like a man, and or acting as a husband, and even within that, I'm still learning how to be a husband. It's never nothing that you perfect.
Right.
Um, just like one of the things that I say is that you never know your spouse. You're continually learning your spouse, because every single day your spouse is changing. They're learning something new. They're doing something different. So you got to continually learn who they are. You will never know, oh, this is exactly what my wife or husband would do. You got to continually learn and love them. So you have to get that information. And I believe, in being a divorcee, one of the things is, um, when you stop learning who your spouse is, that's when it starts getting rocky.
Mm.
That's 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 when you start, it starts getting into that bad area. So continually, every single day, learn who your spouse is. Ask them learn something new. You know. So, but those are some of the things as a husband, once again, that I would try to do. So when I'm in a dating, what things do I bring into a relationship, and what things do I supposed to pull back if I'm not going into any type of in a relationship with a woman as being a husband. I'm trying to be her man, her boyfriend, her boo thing, or whatever the name be. What does that look like? And like I said, I think that's kind of the gray area.
Right.
Okay. We have a couple questions. Let's start with the first one from Bridget. How do we even ask the question, hey, before we start dating, are you XX or XY?
Are we is she talking about
Oh,
chromosomes, or
yeah, or just,
That's what I thought it was.
everybody's how people identify. I think you could just ask. I think in our society, everything's so open. I would just ask. But you don't
hey,
have to be
you
a
got a
jerk about
baby?
it. You don't have to be a jerk about it.
Hey, you got a baby picture? Hey, what day was you born? Let me see your birth certificate.
Right.
Um, you know what I mean? Like, how would you ask? Well, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good question, Bridget. I haven't ran into that situation, thank God. Um, where I ask, because I mean, as Tamika, let me ask you: would that be offensive to you if a man that was maybe trying to court you and was like, "Hey, so what did you identify when you were born?" Like,
No, I wouldn't be offended because of how society is
Right.
today.
mhm.
So I wouldn't be offended. I would say I was born as a woman and I identify as a woman, but I wouldn't be offended.
I think there's like a couple of options because sometimes because of the society that we are and becoming more accepting to all things in
Hmm.
creation of who they're going to be, some people will tell you straight up, these are my pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So then you don't even have
exactly.
to even get into what are you. You get what I mean? But I would say that it's not about what you say, but how you say it. So if I come off and say it as an asshole or a butthead, you know what I'm saying, being a jerk about it, then it's going to be offensive. But if it's truly out of genuine curiosity, I think this relationship, the situation is going to something greater. Do you mind if I ask you something? I've noticed some mannerisms, the way that the dating pool is happening right now. We don't know what's in front of us. So do you mind if I just ask you? So day two, day one, especially if we're dating with a purpose, I want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I'm not wasting the time, your time and my time, if we're not compatible in that nature.
And I want to add something else, and like it's not what you say, it's how you say it, because for people who identify different, it can be dangerous for them. So I
Right.
think like it's how you say it and creating a safe space so they can say their truth. And if you're not with it, be adults and just go separately, but creating that safe space. So I think it is how you say it.
Now let me ask you guys this: do you think who should be the first one? Should they initially, because you were talking about that fear,
Hmm.
should they initially say it, or should the other person be the first one to really say it? Should they? Do you feel like they should be open enough to even say it from the beginning themselves? Like,
I think
or
personally, I would love for someone to be bold enough to express themselves in that way, but we know it takes time to break down barriers and walls for people to be comfortable.
yeah,
But for me, I would hope they would say, in all honesty, like I would hope they would let me know, especially if there's like some kind of connection,
Hmm.
because then I think what it can do to the other person who has changed or presented in such, for the person, I don't even know how to say this like correctly,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
exactly.
like for the one, I believe like I would hope that the person would be able to tell us like this is what it is, but we know that it doesn't always happen like that.
Hmm.
Exactly, exactly. Because I'm thinking like, as soon as I ask for your number,
Yeah, let me know.
let me
I
know
don't think
right then
I
and
don't
there.
think they should tell you in person though. For safety reasons, I just don't. I
But if
don't.
we're having a conversation and I ask you for your
I'd tell
number,
you over
well,
the
again,
phone. If I was in the situation,
all for
maybe I
safety.
wouldn't
You
say
think I would?
anything. I might not even say nothing the first date. And this is why, because first dates bomb all the time. So I don't need to go through all of this for a person I'm never going to see again. I would probably go through with the first date. After that, I will tell you on the phone.
But if there's a spark or if there's a connection off the first date, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right. So then after for
Yeah,
sure. But
you
I
see,
I would see how the date went. And if I felt like there was a spark, I would say something, but I probably would say I'm not in their situation, but I keep thinking
yeah.
of safety. So I would probably say it over the phone and then get a feel for it. It's a very hard situation. I would like to get some, if we could ever get a guest, their real perspective and mindset, but I do think it should be set up front for sure before it goes too far. But I think safety precautions have to be in place.
Well, then safety needs to be before the first date. Then tell me before the first date on the phone.
Okay, that's fair too. That's fair before we even go out on a date.
Before we even go out on a date, because I don't think, I mean, so, okay, how we meet people. We meet people online,
Hmm.
at the club, or through friends. You know what I mean? All of
Demetrius, you
those.
still going to the club? I mean, I
Stop.
did see. Didn't I see you at the yellow party? Let me
I don't
stop.
know. I don't know. Did you see me at the yellow party?
I saw you at
You
the
sure it was
Womack.
me? You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I mean, this right here is a refined beast here. So, in my past lives, I may have been going to the club 6 times a week, and we've shed that down a little bit more now, but my best friend a DJ, but I gotta go out. Matter of fact, the yellow party was last night. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, it was. It's a whole weekend, so yeah. But yeah, I would think that it would be like when we initially talking type situation, that maybe because that's when I would like to know. Because I wouldn't say that I would be mad, but let's say that okay, we were talking, we had a conversation, we didn't set up a date, we going out, you know, and once again, me being me, I didn't paid for the meal, and then afterwards we like, oh okay, all right, of course, and like I said, I'm dating with a purpose, and then you tell me after just that you were born as a male. I may be a little hot at that point.
I
At
feel
that
you.
point.
So, like Tim was saying, yeah, you appreciate if they would tell you up front, but maybe it's something to even just create the space, the safe space,
The safe space.
and ask.
But now that we're talking about this and I'm processing, like I almost think if we're talking, the question can come out, like even on the first date almost. Now, you got to be bold in that as the individual
Yeah.
asking. But I think now, like truly in like the climate of social media, all of the things that are happening with, folks wanting to have these procedures done earlier, sooner than later. Like I think those conversations will manifest within that first date if there is something happening. And I
That's
don't think
true.
it's, and respectfully, like I truly don't think that it's bad in any form or fashion, because just reading off what Bridget just said, people might not want to wait till marriage to get freaky. So if something pops off and we're looking for the same parts that we have, then we have a problem if they're different.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's even more of a safety risk.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, so it even is all the same as like just up front. So we're talking about saying things up front. On the first date, are you asking, are you marriage minded? Do you want kids? Are you asking all those questions too on the first date?
Okay, so in that, I'm gonna tell you before I go on the first date, I tell people that I date with a purpose. That's up front for me. Like I'm not playing about that. I'm letting you know, like, yeah, I'll tell you I'm divorced. I got 4 kids. For 2 years, I took care of my kids by myself, and I'm dating for a purpose, and I'm a minister in the church. Those are some of the first things that I'm saying up front, you know. And what's funny is the one that people question the most is the minister at the church.
Dang.
But yeah, that's the one that people are more scared about with anything else.
Because we don't know if we want to be a first lady. Like I've been thinking about, like, do I want that? That's a lot of
That's
pressure.
the thing, though. Because I said I'm a minister does not mean I got my own church.
That's
You know what I'm saying? Like, so much stuff come to it. Like you say you're a minister. Next thing you know, they looking at you crazy because you done got you a glass of wine. Because you like, I'm human too. I'm still a man. You know what I mean? They like, oh, well, you like me and you think I look sexy, but you a minister. Yeah.
They hear that word. That word has a lot of power to it.
Man, it tripped.
That name. Yep.
Man, we'll throw it. Like I said, out of all the rest of that stuff, the 4 kids, divorce. Now, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. You a
yes.
minister? Oh,
I
hold
like
on.
that. Yes.
What
Bridget
is it?
wrote,
Yes.
yes, dating with the purpose to get married. Um, so we're talking about also how are you, you're talking about how to pull back. So, or the balance, because
The balance.
So when a man is seeking a wife, what can he demonstrate that qualifies him in his behaviors to be a good husband? Um, a lot on social media. What do you probably hear a lot? People, can he provide? Can he protect? And we have all these barriers where finding a husband, we have all these qualifications. So what qualities can you demonstrate without doing husband duties to show that you are husband material?
What can you do? That's interesting. Because like I said, I myself personally I know how to be a husband. I don't know how to be a boyfriend. That's some of the struggles that I'm going through now is in this dating is I don't know how to be a boyfriend. Like who I'm dating right now. Like some of the things that I do. Excuse me. If I go to her house and it's trash day, I take out the trash.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something that I do. You know what I mean? Like it's I ask her, okay, if she's going through something, all right, what's going on? We've been on and off dating. It's going on 2 years now. So I even ask about bills. I ask about kids. I ask about schoolwork. I ask about personal stuff that probably just a husband would do. And once again, this is probably how this conversation with Bridget came across is because we were talking about this, and we were also talking about positioning as a husband and a wife.
This will say,
So
don't pay her bills.
yeah, she say don't pay her bills. Of course, she gonna say that. I mean, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, I understand it, but also at the same point in time, as being a husband and a protector and a provider, I want to make sure that bills are paid and that she's okay. That my queen is taken care of. That's something that she doesn't have to worry about. And that's that's where that happens. Because obviously, if you're a man thinking that way and you're trying to protect and well, once again, you're in the beginning of a relationship and you're trying to learn somebody, you're vulnerable to being used.
Yeah.
So
Let me ask you, what's the difference between, because to me, like what I'm hearing you say is, I know how to be a husband, I know how to be a husband, but
Mm-hmm.
for someone who's never been married, they
mhm.
could take on the role as that being a good boyfriend to
Oh
then become a husband. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I could take care of all these things as a boyfriend. We've been in a relationship for 2 years now, 3 years
Yeah.
now, but we've never taken the next step to be the husband. But I'm doing all of those things as a husband do, but I'm only the boyfriend.
Hmm. Well, one of the things that and this is something different myself personally, like even in a job and when I'm working, I'm I'm working for the position that I want to be in, not the position that I'm in.
Sure.
So if I'm a regular rep, my frame of how I'm thinking is okay, I want to look like a supervisor, act like a supervisor. And majority of the time, especially in business, is when you get promoted, you've already been doing the duties of the job that you are about to get. You've already been doing those tasks. It's just now the title and the pay raise, but you've been doing the special projects. You've been doing all of that stuff. So I guess that's kind of how I do it as well. Is okay, and I would say almost as a woman, I would want to see, or I can say this as a man, I
Mm-hmm.
would want to see wife material from a woman before I made her my wife.
Right.
These are the qualities that I want in a wife, and she's already doing them. So then I'm gonna marry her. I'm not gonna marry her based off of she might be a good wife. you know, I see those qualities. So the question is, why wouldn't I show the things that I can do before I become a husband? So
Okay.
that's me. And if you've never been married, I guess the transition within that is, the question is, what do I need to do to become a husband? What does that look like? For me, it may be a little bit different because I was a husband, so
Right.
I already know. But somebody who hasn't been, now he has to kind of go within himself and say, okay, what kind of husband do I want to be? And what kind of husband does she want me to be? And kind of put that together. And then he's probably going to start doing those things before he asks her to marry him.
Yeah, I would agree. There's something about the person that makes you want to be with them 100%,
Yeah.
and they show it. They show it vividly. It ain't
Yeah,
no
they
guessing
show
about
it.
it.
And it's better when they show it non-intentionally, like it's just naturally within them
Yep.
to do those types of things. Because then when you see it, you're like, oh, okay, you just do this. This is a part of, you wife material. You a good thing. So then it naturally comes. But I mean, there's always going to be work involved within it, enhancing those skills or whatever to that person. But yeah, so
Okay. Well, Bridget, since I'm going to the chat, she said, demonstrating that you have the ability is different than assuming the role. I mean, you can show you have the ability to be responsible. Like how you conduct your life is very important. Like, can you take care of yourself? Are you responsible? Are you trustworthy? Do you have integrity? Things like that. So that's a way I could see like demonstrating. What Bridget's blowing us up.
yeah, because we had a whole fight. I told you we had a
Yeah.
whole fight.
She
The
said,
thing with
well,
Peter,
not
though,
your queen yet. I have one thing to say about that. Like, you were talking about demonstrating. Um, if I'm dating a guy for, let's say, a year, and let's say I have some issues, I actually should be able to go to him. I feel like,
What do you mean issues?
let's say I couldn't pay a bill.
But you
If
already
we've
paid
been
your bills
dating long
before you
term,
guys got together.
huh?
I said you've already been paying your bills before y'all got
No,
together.
let's say something happened, like I fell on a hard time. I think I should be able to. I do think I should be able to. He can say no, but I think I should be able to go to him for help.
Question. So that's your first option or that's your last option?
Usually when you are, let's be honest, when you're dating a man, if you've been with a man or
I've never
somebody for
dated a man, so I don't
I
know.
was just about to say that. I don't know.
okay, when you're dating someone for an extended period of time, a year or so, y'all doing all the things. Let's just keep it real. You're spending most of your time with them. They know a lot about you. They know your personal business. You've been intimate. I've done all that. I know we're going to get into you shouldn't, but this is just the reality. If something happened, let's say my car broke down and I need money for a tire and I didn't have the money, what would be wrong with me asking this person that I'm in a long-term relationship with? I'm
But see,
asking.
that's where I think that's where the double standard is. So I think it's easy for a woman to do that, but then if we do that, now it looks like you broke.
I disagree. I disagree. I know social media projects that and all this stuff, but a lot of women, when we are riding with a man that long and doing all this stuff, we will help him out. We're fixers.
Is a year long enough though?
Huh?
Yeah, the next thing is what's the time frame? See, we getting into details at this point. You know what I mean? Because then it goes into, well, how much money is, like a tire? I can get a used tire for $60. You know what I mean?
I
But
mean, I
I
have
gotta.
$60, but this is
You got
hypothetical,
60
y'all.
bucks. You know what I mean? But
Hypotheticals
then
are tough.
hypotheticals are tough. But my engine blown out. That's about, that's a little bit of
Oh,
change.
look. Okay.
I
Then Bridget says, so wait, why are you riding that long with the man? Girl, I don't have one. I don't know. This is hypothetical.
So this is what Bridget started saying stuff, right? But Bridget been married for 555 years with Pat. So it's not,
Oh,
sometimes I don't think she see that like it's a little bit different, that different perspective sometimes.
what or
Um
this one? Oh, question. Should he go to you for money? The answer is hell. No, but here's the thing. A lot of times men aren't gonna really go to the woman for money because of that pride thing, and he don't want to seem broke. That's
I'll put
that.
my pride
But
aside real quick, but I know who I got and I trust in what I have.
right. So if I know my man, he's on hard times and we have a great relationship. He usually does everything. Life be life, and yes, I would help him out. I would. I'm not gonna lie, I would.
at
Here
what
we
point do you at what point do you think that he a bum?
Oh, you want to know? I look. I. What point do I think he's a bum? For the
Yeah.
most part, he has to be taking care of business. For the most part, like majority all, and he handles his business. He's financially responsible. Just life happens, and I do get that. But
So you talking about like
you
a
know, a
one, two.
bum right away.
Okay.
You
So
know, a
Nah,
bum
you've
right
been with
away.
him.
you could
You've
put a
been with him
facade
for a
up for a
year.
while.
You've
You
been with him
can't
for
for
a
too
year.
long. You can't hide who you are. Your representative can't stay up for too long.
Yeah,
It
I
starts to
mean,
come down after those 90 days.
okay.
Let me,
So so after a year, you know that he's not a bum.
oh no, I
But
say 3 months. At 3 months, you
okay,
know if you with a bum or not. Literally in that
okay,
dating phase of three
yeah,
months to 6 months, you know if you with a bum or not.
got you. So it's been a year, you know, and he heard the new Kendrick Lamar, and he like, yo, I can go back to rapping. Boo, you got me?
No, I'm not your wife. I'm not financially supporting you. That's not what we're talking about. Get out of here.
We got a
No,
lot
Okay,
of
but
okay.
seriously, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking. That's not what I'm talking about. No, I'm not.
Talking about like
there's
a
a lot of
legit,
comments in the chat, Tamika.
Okay. Yep. Let me get to him. Hold on. Let me get
a onesie
to
twosie situation.
Monique. So, as a woman or a man, if you've dated someone for at least 6 months plus, you've invested emotionally, spiritually, and physically, etc. That should be the first person you should go to for assistance. That's exactly what I was saying. I would go to him for
Yeah,
sure.
because they're probably your best friend at that point. They probably
Exactly.
close
And
to.
you know
They
when
probably close.
you know that once your significant other who you're trying to be with, the years, like fine, we've been together 6 years, but in like dog years, we've been together for 5.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, what other one? Bridget said, unless you're young and in school, you shouldn't be dating for years. Hey, it depends.
I think there's like a time
Like,
on that.
yeah.
So
So what
like
you saying? 11 months? Like after 11 months, you should be. You no longer dating?
No,
Like
after I think for me after 11, and ladies, you said men, both of you guys, I want to know a man's perspective. I feel like at 11 months, we really marriage should be on the mind for sure.
I think at like so you got your evaluation stage, like that first 30 to 40 days. Okay, are we compatible? We've been talking, feelings are starting to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you get to like that 4 or 5 months. There's probably some arguments that might start to pop off because now you guys are actually starting to like each other and click in.
Mm-hmm.
So after you get past that, I think you know if this is who I want to be with or not. So that
For
could be like
sure.
6, 7 months. Like we've invested this time. This is who I want to be with. There are some things that irritate me about him, but we can go ahead and I can ride with this.
I'm with that. Let's Demetrius, what do you think about that before we go to the next comment?
well, I mean, like I said, I'm the first day I'm looking for a wife.
Will
So
you marry somebody in 3 months?
I don't think 3 months, that's 90 days.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's I don't it have to be God sent for 90 days. Like that's training. Like I don't even get my full benefits from a job. It's in 90 days sometimes. Like I can't get
6
that
months.
401k.
Yeah.
I'm not even in 401k. So I don't, I mean, I guess it's possible, you know. But yeah, I'm in a relationship now. It's been over 90 days and we ain't married.
There you go. See, so just a key at heart. That is Tim's wife, Brian. She said it's hard to say absolutes. We are all we are all very we are all very individual people with different values and expectations. What's right for one person isn't for the other. It truly comes down to communication.
Very true.
And then she goes on to say communications, expectation, desires, and time frames, etc. That's solid for sure. Oh, y'all. Oh, we got y'all in here. Hopefully, we can get Demetrius back. When he come back, he's gonna be married because he's past the 90 days. Oh, hopefully he can get back on. We'll keep it rolling. So Monique says, yes, a man should be a provider. However, if he does come to you, it's because he actually does need help. I don't have a problem helping. Most women nowadays won't, and that's the issue. I was saying that a man will come to you as a last resort. It's just you guys, for the most part. If he's not a bum, you're not going to be his first person.
I also think it's what you're feeding your brain too. So like if you're listening to some of these podcasts out here where you basically, it's like confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go out there, I can find anything I want to listen to and hear, and then that starts to become my subconscious. I think now for some reason my algorithm is like giving me different podcasts like snippets, where there are podcasts out there that are like where it's the man and woman foundational of the podcast and how they're speaking to each other. And for the most part, they're like, yeah, we will help each other. But I think because of all of like the toxic stuff that is out there, I think that takes like the forefront of our brain most times. And that we do forget that there are women out there that will support a man. There are men out there that will support the women in the way in which they're supposed to happen. But we get so wrapped up in the negativity of the relationship that we do forget that there are those things that are still in existence.
Yeah. This was the last comment we had before you disappeared. Demetrius, I said it's been 90 days. By the time you come back online, you might be married.
You could be.
So Monique said, yeah, this is
No.
Tim just answered what Monique said. Monique said, yes, a man should be a provider. However, if he does come to you, it's because he actually does need help. I don't have a problem helping. Most women nowadays won't, and that's the issue. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I am gonna say that it's the last resort. If I'm asking somebody, if I'm asking her for something, it's the last thing. But what I'm also learning as well is women do want to feel needed too, to a point. So me showing that I am depending on her in certain situations does empower her. So I know that sometimes I will ask um things. Of course, this is before I'm, just ask, can you do something for me type situation. It don't got to be something big, but what I'm learning about with the person that I'm with is that when I do ask her to help me, it empowers her and makes her feel better as well.
I can see that because I would hate for me to be in this relationship and they're going through it and they don't think they can come to me. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not even talking about money at this point. I'm just talking about whatever's going on.
Whatever it is.
Stress, yeah. They're depressed. Like, just, I'm depressed. I've been crying in the shower every morning. I would actually like to know that. I want to be a helpmate. And I know I'm not your wife, but that's just me being a friend.
Mm.
All right, so riddle me this though. So like in the realm of attunement, 7 months, 8 months in, I think that was like our determining indicator that it could go either way, right?
Yep, that's where we
Wouldn't
at.
you be in tune with your partner's feelings at that point to notice those things if things are off?
Riddle me this. Some people hide things though. Some people are good at hiding.
But you're gonna slip up. You can't hide forever.
That's
So like
true.
now we're 6, 7 months. I'm not getting the same phone calls. There's distance being created. There are always signs. There's always signs that let you know that something is off. So then what? How do you approach that? Because this is how you figure out this is who you're going to be with. If something is
Right.
off, I'm able to say, "Hey, what's going on? Let's talk about it," or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Before we even think about marriage, like those are the things. This is how we get to know each other. This is how we get to know when I'm off, when I'm not off, when you're off, when you're not off, and how I respond. Because you can respond ugly, and then it can also mess up the relationship. So this is all a part of the learning process of your partner.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I was saying as well, though, is like those types of situations are going to change throughout the life of a marriage as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So even if you know that 6 months at 3 years, that may completely different.
Right.
Right.
So you
Change.
got to continually be learning those little things. And um, I'm I'm into a right now. What I do, I don't assume anything, so I ask a lot of questions. So you sitting there crying or going through something right now, and I'm gonna ask the questions of how, why, what, But you see, I'm crying, so something is wrong. I ain't assuming nothing. I really have to ask these questions because another thing that I ask questions like what I've learned is a woman will come to you with a problem, your significant other, and she'll have a problem. As a man, myself personally, the first thing that I want to do is fix it. And I'm going to give her ideas how to fix it or whatever the case may be. What I've learned is that's not always the case.
Right.
Sometimes they just want you to hear what they saying and just be there. So what I've learned when that happens, I'm like, okay, I hear what you're saying. So are you telling me this because you want me to aid you into fixing this problem? Or do you
Mm-hmm.
just want me to be there with you right now? And that's why you like that's where that communication comes in, and that's where some of that learning stuff comes into play.
Mm-hmm. I like that. We have a few more. We have questions up in here. So, questions for the men. How did you communicate to your partner your intentions? What is the initial conversations in the first 90 days of dating? Or did it take time to articulate your end results with her?
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Mm-hmm.
I think mine was pretty quick with Bree. Um, I think there was just a level of maturity that I was looking for, and she had it. And then as far as communicating my intentions, um, I was like, these are the things that I've struggled with in the past. This is the feedback that I've received from past relationships.
Mm.
So let me know if this is coming through with us. And then as soon as I think I met her, me and my homie Devin moved into these apartments on Ingersoll, got out of our lease early, and then I moved into her crib. And then the rest is history. So um, she was upfront with me too. Like there was a few times in the beginning that there were probably some struggles of us getting to know each other, as it would be. It's a new relationship. But once we were able to work through, that's what I was saying, like at that 4 or 5 months, 6 months, like when you're learning your partner at the beginning stages, and as Mr. Hood articulated very well, is you got to continue to learn your partner as you evolve in your marriage. But at that point in time, we're learning each other. So we're trying to figure out our ins and outs. And then we got out of our lease and I moved into her duplex, which was very small. However, but we got to know each other, on a deeper level. And I think that's what helped us. And then, you know, it takes a very brave person to communicate their fears, their anxieties,
Mhm.
and all of the things that are happening with them and their past relationships also, because it's everybody has baggage, so to speak.
Mhm.
But if you're not willing to address that and let that go with your partner, all of that stays inside of them, and then that relationship never has a chance to truly take off. So I commend Bree a lot on her being vulnerable with me to allow me to be vulnerable with her so that we could grow in that way.
Dang.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Like that's truly amazing. And um that that communication is, I think, is one of the biggest things. And as a man, I think it's the vulnerability. Um Saying your past hurts. I don't think all men are able to kind of even express um a lot of what they feel. Um what year is it? It's 2024. Okay, so I'm
Mhm.
44. I had to, yeah, you old when you got to look at it and be like, what? How old I am? But um, I grew up in an area where men were, you know, supposed to be open and even having feelings. So a lot of stuff that I express about past hurts and pains and adjusting that is sometimes even difficult to do, because I feel like if I tell it or I say it sometimes, that I'm be perceived a certain type of way. You know,
Mhm.
I think we all got trauma, and not being, we got to be open with that. But as once again, as a husband, with my mate, with my person, my rib, the one who protects my vital organs, my vulnerabilities, um, they need to know those. They need to know what pains that I have. So um, that's something, once again. So when I'm looking for a wife, they say that the man is the protector, but as me looking for a wife, I'm looking for a protector as well, because I'm looking for a woman that will protect those hurts and those pains and those other things that I have, as well. You
Mhm.
know, um, I need help. you know, so um, you, like you said, you being there with your wife in that small, y'all were knit close together. It wasn't too much that y'all probably could even hide from each other because y'all was right there on top of each other.
And then
So,
COVID hit, and
oh,
then my sister
oh,
came, and it was even smaller.
oh, oh,
I stayed
oh,
with them for 5 weeks
mm, mm.
in the little
Bless
duplex.
you, bless you, my brother. Stay strong. Woo! That's the man right there. You need to write a book, because I know you went through some. You said then your sister came too,
Yeah.
so you had Bree and your sister in a small house by yourself.
And then like,
Just,
yeah. So it's
oh
like,
God, that's Superman. Can we change his name, Superman?
I thought it was great.
no, it was cool, but it was small.
It was small, but it was small. Got you, got you.
All right, we got another question. So, question: are you dating projects or people for with potential, or people actually healthy in
That's Bridget.
what you are looking for?
Who want to take that? Because
I'm not dating nobody, so that's to y'all.
Yeah,
Lord,
yeah. I
yeah,
don't.
you go, Tamika.
I'm currently not dating at all because I'm just not. I'm focusing on myself at the moment, but plan to date soon. Intentionally date.
Okay,
Um, no, I'm not looking for people with pot- potential or a project by any means. I do understand that no one's perfect. I do understand that, and we all got some shit. You know what I mean? And sometimes we can come together and help each other grow. Sometimes in certain areas, we need that special person, that companion. Um, basically, Tim, what you're talking about, what you and Bree, both of us being vulnerable and talking about our insecurities, our shit, and the stuff that we struggle with, but both of us still being at a place where we can accept that and, come together in communication and grow from there. I'm not looking for perfection because I'm not perfect, but there are some deal breakers where it is too much for me or it's not good for me. And I can recognize that. I have awareness of that. And somebody might meet me and there might be things where that's too much for them. Just having that conversation is important. But
My question with that is, find me somebody who's not a project. We all are growing to become the best person that we are at the end of the day. Um, when we talk about projects, I think about, when those people that fix those fixer up homes.
Right.
You know, some people, if it's just a slab of, the grounding is right. All right, yeah, we can build on that. The roof gone, it got some leaky. It depends. It kind of depends what your expertise is and what you is. But I believe that we all are, because I'm a project in myself. And once again, if I'm entering into a marriage, it's a project. I'm building on making this something better. I'm not there. There's no way that I can step into a relationship with somebody and everything's perfect, like you said, Tamika. It's just not gonna happen.
uh-huh.
Well, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No,
It's gonna be a project.
I think it's
So
just
I
we
just
both have to be willing. And there might have
yeah,
been some, I do think there's individual work you have to do for sure.
yeah,
For sure. But
yeah,
I just don't think you can get to a place of perfection, and that's me offering grace and wanting grace in return.
absolutely,
But change of
absolutely.
behavior though and growth has to come along with that.
Yeah, it does. You have to grow. If you're not growing, you dying. So,
But
and
there's
you
definitely deal breakers though for people, and
yeah,
I think it's respectable. That's why you have those conversations and communication
definitely.
with. That's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, deal. I mean, like, if I'm dating somebody and she's like a um super aggressive, I want to say like mama bearish type personality, that's one of my deal breakers. Like, I can't, yeah,
Yeah,
I can't, overruling type. Yeah, that's too much. But yeah, you got to look at it. You got to see what you're willing to get into
yeah.
to it at the end of the day.
It's not black and white. It's
It's not.
for me. It's
It really ain't. There's some gray areas in that. There's some pink and yellow and green too. um,
but Bridget,
relationships can be.
and people change. What somebody was, like you
Yeah,
said, the first 3 years, something could happen to somebody and it changes
that
them
change
as a
them
person.
completely.
And you're like, who
Completely.
are you?
Who are you? You didn't change. So that's why I'm saying, like, you got to keep learning somebody every single day. Because if you're not learning them, it's gonna be 2 years and you'll be like, but you used to. Yeah, I don't like that no more. I
So
don't do
Bridget,
that no more.
yeah, Bridget says. So the question is, if that person never changes, could you be happy and get to where you want to be? Um, you guys can answer that,
Eh,
or Demetrius.
If you ain't changing, you dying. Like, let's be serious. Like, after this conversation right now,
Mhm.
regardless of whatever it is, all of us are gonna change a little bit off of what we just heard.
Right.
Something has changed, whether it be drastic or not. We're always changing. It's a person can't say they. I don't think. I'm never gonna change. I used to say that. I said I'm always gonna go to the club, and I'm never gonna do this. I'm not gonna. If I get married, I'm never gonna match my spouse. I used to say all that silly stuff, and now I yearn for it. So we change. It ain't, it's only a couple. I think two things that's permanent in my life that's probably never gonna change. I'm gonna stay black and I'm gonna die. Everything else has is very flexible.
You know, I wonder if she's talking about behavior though, more so. If a person never changes a certain behavior that you just can't.
Then it has to be a specific behavior.
Right. That you just can't tolerate, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Like, and sometimes there are behaviors. That's why people break up. That's why people get divorced. Because I need this to change, or I can't do it. Or yes, drugs. I've said this before, and this is now Bridget brought this up. I said because of, remember, we all have different backgrounds and we come from different experiences. Mm-hmm. With our mom being a drug addict, I can't. That's a hard no. I'm not capable. I don't think I'm capable of going down that road with you. It would have to change, and if it didn't, then I probably could not be there for you as a spouse.
But is there certain drugs, or is it all drugs?
Like hard ones. Like if you like, as Judge Mathis said, if you're a crackhead, crackhead's behavior comes with a lot of stuff, y'all. It comes with a lot of stuff.
So coke,
huh?
If you're a coke addict?
Yeah. Nah. No way, Jose.
Marijuana's cool?
I could, long as it's not taking over. Like, you can't be out here your life revolving around it. If it's just a casual.
What if you got to take Adderall for your ADHD?
That's
Tim, what about this Ozempic that I'm taking?
I'm talking about Ozempic. I'm talking about the hard stuff. You out here doing crazy stuff. Like, you've lost your whole entire mind. That's like and the hard thing about that, you can say, okay, they'll change, they'll get help, but a lot of times they relapse. That's just the name of the game. So am I up for that life? I don't. Just because of my past, I dealt with it for a long time. I don't know if I can go into the second leg of my life with that. So I suggest you don't become a drug addict, bud. I mean, I wouldn't just throw you to the wolves, but I could probably support you as a friend, not
be with you.
Yeah. And especially if I had a kid with someone, I would want the father of my child to be okay. I would help any way I could, but once you start selling the baby's diapers and stuff, it's too much.
What is the crackheads that can deal with life? Self-sufficient crackheads?
Well, you're functioning. You're a functioning addict. There's some people that are functioning addicts.
Yeah, they're functioning addicts.
No, I think it would trigger me.
It would trigger you. Understandable.
And then I probably wouldn't be the nicest person. I'd be talking to them like Judge Mathis.
Ooh.
I'd be disrespectful, probably. I'm not even gonna lie. So
you
gotta call that a spade ASAP then. And then
ASAP. That's within the first week.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can't. Whoo. That ain't no joke.
What are some deal breakers? Oh, you said the overbearing.
Yeah, overbearing. But see, so and once again, y'all may not ever have you back on this show again. So, and this happens. So, people change, right?
Mm-hmm.
We first got together, you was a freak. We was together, doing everything. And now, we ain't doing nothing.
But there could be reasons.
Yeah, there could be reasons.
Your body changes, stress, hormones.
It's a whole
It's a whole bunch of
list.
things with us. So that's conversation right there.
So that's just the communication type situation. But like we said, people change.
That is true. So I do have a question. She said, did you see what she said about you?
No,
He is an a-hole. Oh,
she can't put that in there. This ain't.
so I want to know from both of you. And I actually want to start with you, Tim, because you're currently married, and then I want to go to you, to Demetrius, because you have had longevity. But what
Okay.
are the benefits of marriage?
What are the benefits?
Uh-huh.
You always have a trusted ear. I think that's to me, that's like the most important. You got a partner for life. You got a friend for life. You need to bounce ideas off of. They're always here. Love is unconditional. And then when you
Unless you
start
do
to like,
drugs.
you talk about my situation, not yours.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We triggered her already. Nah.
Already.
Already.
I'm
You know, the list is everlasting because
Yeah. It is.
you grow together, you build something, your family's here, and then it doesn't go away unless you want it to.
kidding.
Like those are the choices that you make, and you can lose it quick, or you can keep it close to your heart. So
You got to choose it every single day. You got to choose it every single day. First off, marriage, taxes.
that's real though.
That's real. That's real. Two incomes. That's good. That's good. I mean, the love and stuff. That's. I mean, I'm just thinking. You know, when hard times fall, you do have somebody to help with. Um, Having somebody that you can talk to. Um, having some one particular person that you can call your own is big. You know what I'm saying? When you can say, "This is my person. This is my wife." That hits home for me. You know what I mean? This is the one for me. This is my rib. This is the person. I think that's very good. Also, um, about marriage, it's just in society itself. Um, I think people see people as married couples, and it's more positive than a single person.
Right.
Single lives matter.
Yeah, they do. But
We do.
we not all trying to stay single. So we so single people trying to get married and married people trying to stay married. So well, I guess there are
Oh,
some
some
married
married
people
people trying to get
single.
divorced. I know a lot of them.
You're right. You're right about that. But maybe it ain't that many of them, but I definitely don't. I ain't trying to be single. I'm not. So there's a comfortability when you have marriage, and just um, dealing with the things of life by yourself sucks. Having somebody
Sure.
there to help you deal with this BS that be happening every single day. Um, Having somebody to help you with these kids, and having different, just sometimes having a different perspective about life, you know, and you can say those same things. Oh, you got a friend, but when you actually have a mate, they're right there with you. So their perspective is way closer than your best is the best friends,
Right.
because that's internal type situation. They know the ins and outs of the situation. So um that, I mean, that's just some of the things of a marriage, having two people together. and being able to focus on goals and stuff like that is, you know, you have much more fun when you
So,
married me.
so back to the original question, and I want y'all to answer after all this dialogue. When a man is seeking a wife, should a man assume the role of a husband?
I ain't changed. I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah. I think if you break down the label of the word you just said, we had that podcast about labels.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just got to identify what that means. Because everybody has their own definition of the word husband. So you got to figure out what's the foundation of the word with you and your partner versus one trying to create their own definition of the word and then it never even takes off. Because I might have a view of a husband and then my partner might have a view of what she views as a husband. So if you're not able to collaborate on that definition, good luck.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Mr. Hood.
Well, I mean, I don't think I've changed. Like I believe, like I was saying, I believe that showing the characteristics of a husband as I know it, I'm gonna do that, especially if I'm walking into intentions of being a husband with anybody that I date. This is what it's like to be married to Demetrius Hood. That's kind of what the dating process is. This is what I do, and this is who I am because I already when I'm walking into that, I already see myself as a husband. I guess that's kind of the biggest thing is if even if I'm dating somebody in a relationship, I'm looking at myself as being that person's husband. I see myself as that. Just like I said, like in the business, like if I want to get a promotion, I see myself in that position. I'm acting like I'm already in that position. I'm growing into that position. So that's what I'm doing damn near day one. you know, after I expressed to them like I want I'm walking in purpose and she cool with that and she know that up front that that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Game on.
So do you think that's good or bad, Tamika?
Do I think it's good or bad?
Yes.
No. Well, for me, like what Bree said, everyone is different and have different expectations. For me, that is amazing.
Thank you. I just wanted you to say that.
I mean, well, and I'm going to tell you why though, because everybody has different needs, right?
Yes.
I need to feel protected. So if he's doing these things, it's even just him showing a lot of concern for me, or like noticing my trash. Oh, I got this. Like he's studying me, he's observing, cares about me. That shows someone that loves me, is looking out for my well-being, and yeah, it provides safety, and it shows I can be safe with that person. So for sure. But I do understand there is balance, right? Because everybody's trying to protect themselves. Because again, like Bree said, there's no absolutes. You can pour in all these things into a person and it goes nowhere. And you can pour them into the wrong person.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no absolutes.
Yeah. And that's the courage of it all too. Sometimes you're guessing if it's the right person, but you could be pouring into a glass that has a whole lot of holes in it.
For sure.
And it's, but that's the risk that we take sometimes.
What do they say? I'm ready to risk it all.
I'm ready to risk it all.
So, Demetrius, we like to play a game. It's they're questions, And the first thing that pops in your head, are you ready? Are you prepared?
Are y'all prepared?
Right.
Are y'all
Okay.
prepared? Yep,
You ready?
I'm ready.
One word that best describes you.
That was bad. Um, Kind.
What is your theme song?
My theme song. Ooh. DJ Khaled, I'm so hood.
What motivates you?
I'm trying to be so good now.
Don't be good.
That's your
Say
first
what
thought.
works.
Your first thought. You
Your
take it
first
too
thought.
long.
Okay, pussy.
Oh damn. Your personal hero.
My father.
Who's your personal hero?
My father.
Oh,
I
your
mean, he
father.
died. But yeah, he was my first. Yeah, I would definitely say he was my hero.
Mhm.
Now,
What
yeah.
What is your wildest dream?
Damn. Wildest dream. Oh, dude. I don't know. Like that's deep. I have not thought about like my wildest dream. Wildest. Um
You got 5 seconds.
I,
Pray on it.
I that is not helping. Praying on it. Um Wildest dream is to be, I guess, okay, we'll just say overly successful. I'm just
Okay.
throwing something out there.
What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Being a good man,
Mm. Your
being a
purpose?
my purpose
Okay.
is to lead people to God. That is my purpose. Now, am I acting in that? Am I, you know what I mean? But I definitely believe that that's my purpose is to lead people to God.
Mm. What do you want God to say to you once you meet him at the pearly gates?
Well done.
Yes, yes. Man, this was a fun show. Demetrius, what's any parting words you want to leave our audience?
Um, be you. At the end of the day, I know that we definitely talked about perspective. I hope that within this podcast that we all grew a little bit more. We got another perspective about different things. And I just hope that this help people grow a little bit more, and also see that, you know, vulnerability and communication is something that's big. And there's not just one answer for anybody because, like Bree said, we're all different. So all of these questions have different answers, and it doesn't mean that they're right or wrong. It's just that different people have different perspectives. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself, except for that last issue where I got left. My manager didn't really keep me up to date. Like I didn't I didn't have my power cord on, so my computer went dead. But you know, my manager was supposed to keep me on track for that and didn't do it. So they getting fired after I get off this podcast. So we ended that. But but I thoroughly enjoyed this and hopefully I can be a guest another time. So I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it.
We enjoyed having you. We enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Tim, any last words, bud?
I was just gonna say, tune into this one. We have several episodes also out there. So if you're looking for some good advice or just listen to some wisdom, listen to some people actually being their authentic self and true self, pop in and listen. And then Mr. Hood, appreciate you coming on and telling your truth. You know, I think a lot of times it goes without said, but we take on these roles as men and our pride does get in the way. So I appreciate you being vulnerable with us and chopping it up.
Thank you. Oh, this was great. So if you guys enjoy the show, please like, share, hit that notification button on YouTube. You can also listen to this and many other shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. The links are I'll put them in the comment section, but they're also in the about section. So check us out there. If you're interested or you know anyone that's interested in being a guest or any topics you want us to discuss, shoot me an email. Let me put my email address up for you. So hit me up at bougiegirl@gmail.com. That's BOOSHEGURL @gmail. And until next time, you guys, peace and blessings.
Peace. Hey, I got a question, Tamika.
Yeah, we're still on. You ask.
Yeah. Can I change my motivation from pussy to love?
Yes, you can. So your motivation is love, and
Yeah. It's love. It just came out the wrong way. Yeah.
I feel you. I appreciate you, Demetrius. I appreciate your honesty and sharing that with our audience. Demetrius' motivation is love. I don't say
There
the
you
P
go.
word, but from
even
P
better.
to L. Peace and blessings, y'all.
All right. Bye.
Bye.